Hi, my name is Kelly Blakeney. I am a teacher on special assignment working with our Career and Technical Education Department for Yakima School District as a CTE curricular specialist. I am asking our parents, teachers, students, and community members to take a few minutes to review our 2021 Agriculture and Skilled Technical Curricular Text Choices for Adoption to be utilized in classrooms for the 2021-22 school year. I'm going to read through a few slides just to explain how our curricular adoption procedure works and give us an opportunity to review our text adoption choices. So getting into our adoption procedure, we start by gathering information from the Northwest Textbook Depository. We've asked publishers to send us text materials that are as close to the teaching content as possible. Some skilled and technical subjects are lacking in text publications due to the nature of the content that is taught. Some examples would be graphic arts and design and visual communications. So therefore, we review different types of publishers to find materials for those instructors to utilize in their classrooms. After vetting the publisher's texts and material choices and deciding upon the top three, we convene as small groups of teachers and professionals who are teaching the content to discuss the different text materials based upon several factors. First factor being a textbook format, appearance, readability, appeal of page layouts, etc. Second criteria, textbook organization, the coherency of the content, the consistency of the organization, sequencing of units, and consistency of goals within the subject area. Also areas of promotion of critical thinking and problem solving. The next point, adaptability of content for instructional methods and differentiation of instruction for students with IEPs or individualized education plans, ESL students where English is not their first language, students with other disabilities, and advanced IB, International Baccalaureate, or AP, Advanced Placement. We look for content that has adequate opportunities for self-assessment and opportunities to correct their learning, and extensions of higher level thinking activities. We look at the curriculum having content that is rigorous and relevant to the content they're learning, reading level that is appropriate for grade level, and the content that is being learned. We also look for materials that have unbiased and represent all socioeconomic groups, along with evaluation of gender bias in the materials. As we are meeting as a small group of professionals, upon making the decision of which text and publisher to adopt with, we then complete the appropriate district instructional adoption committee forms. Later in the presentation, I will show you the documentation of the forms we used in our curricular vetting of the materials. After a public viewing and public approval of our instructional materials decisions, we bring the final recommendations to the district level instructional materials adoption committee to present and discuss and ultimately gain their approval of our curricular recommendations. Our public reviewing, including course materials, part of this presentation involves providing this information to the public via a link on our YSD Yakima School District webpage with a link to our Career and Technical Education page where you will find all of this information. The course materials included for preview will be showcased Monday, March 29th through Friday, April 2nd, 2021. We'll be reviewing plant sciences, the textbook Plant and Soil Science Fundamentals and Application, Cengage Publishing, copyright 2010, Introduction to Agriculture, textbook Principles of Agriculture, Food, and Natural Resources, first edition, Goodhart Wilcox Publishing, copyright 2017, Greenhouse Operations textbook. This is for our horticulture course, Horticulture Today, first edition, Goodhart Wilcox Publishing, copyright 2017. For our advanced placement environmental science, we're looking at the textbook Environmental Science for the AP course, 3rd edition, Bedford, Freeman and Worth, Publishing, copyright 2019. And our last two texts we're looking at for adoption are our journalism textbook, Publishing Across Media, 2nd edition, again, Goodhart Willcox Publishing, copyright 2021. Careers in Education textbook, Teaching, 3rd edition, Goodhart Willcox Publishing, copyright 2021. Our final decision-making process included processes and procedures. At each consecutive meeting, all the members were involved met to peruse, review, and discuss curricular adoption materials. With frameworks adopting instructional texts, we looked at the specific text format, the organization of unit content, facilitation of student self-evaluation, and the facilitation of lesson planning, along with performance assessments and leadership opportunities. For those frameworks adopting supplementary or ephemeral materials, all of our committee members viewed in entirety those specific to their curricular content area. The members identified several factors relating to the supplementary materials, which included meeting quality assurance standards, continuity in the instructional process, and the age, maturity level, appropriateness for students who will be viewing the materials. Our decision-making process included the following rationale and relationship to the Office of Superintendent of Public Instruction approved frameworks, the National Agriculture, Food, and Natural Resources FNR standards, Washington State Teachers Standards, Educators Rising Standards, Media Literacy Standards, and also in alignment with our Washington State academic standards. In all these and CTE course material adoptions, the lens with which the materials vetted for a final decision is alignment to the state-approved curricular frameworks. Throughout this process, notes were maintained and considered carefully in our decision-making process. And as you can see from the presentation, these members were involved in the adoption process. I'm going to share with you just a few pieces of information regarding our adoptions of each text. The first text I'd like to share with you today is the Horticulture Today text. This is actually the 1st edition lab workbook. The workbook consists of 2 different types of activities. You can see in the table of contents the areas of study. We have agricultural leadership, horticultural industry, plant taxonomy, soils and nutrition, and so forth. I'll click on one so that you may view some of the workbook activities. There are questions here. Areas they have to define, students, nutrients they have to list, and so on. Our Introduction to Agriculture, Principles of Agriculture, Food, and Natural Resources, 1st edition is the next text I would like to share with you. I'm going to share our companion website. Here we have an interactive glossary, video clips that students can view in order to understand the materials they are learning. There are words to know, video clips and activities, and a review and assessment piece. Here's an example of one of our assessment pieces. What is agriculture? On what 3 broad categories is the scope of agriculture based? And so on. The next text adoption I would like to share with you is our Plant and Soil Science Fundamentals and Application. This text is currently being utilized to teach horticulture and greenhouse management courses. This review process is to reaffirm continued use of this textbook in classroom teaching practice. As you can see, it is taking a moment to load. Here is the table of contents of our plant and soil science fundamentals. Students will start with the plant kingdom. Each chapter is organized into key terms, research, summary, review, application of knowledge, and resources. As you can see, they go through several types of learning experiences. Part 2 involves soil materials and formation, soil characteristics and classifications, soil fertility and management. Here are some examples of key terms that students would need to know, objectives of completion upon reading and learning the chapter, chapter summary. There are questions to review, true and false, short answer, critical thinking, and discussion. And then the application of the knowledge that is being learned throughout the coursework. I'd like to share with you our text choice for environmental science for the AP course. The text we would like to adopt for the environmental science for the AP course is Environmental Science for the AP course, 3rd edition by Friedland and Ralya. This text is published by Bedford, Freeman, and Worth. Here's an example of some student resources. There are math videos, flashcards, here are some teacher resources. Activities, answers to chapter exams, answers to the application of the science, correlations to the AP practice tests, lecture slides, web resources. There are math skills practice, measuring practice, images, handouts, and so on. Our second to our last text adoption is our journalism text, Publishing Across Media, 2nd edition. Journalism Publishing Across Media presents the principles and practices of high school journalism. Students learn how to write clearly and effectively and engage their audience using print, broadcast, or online media. Discussions of visual and multimedia storytelling enable students to share sights, sounds, and subjects of their story with an audience. Here are the table of contents of each of those chapters involved in the book. Here are some examples of the chapter. Each chapter has a list of chapter objectives, key terms, some pre-reading exercises, chance for editing opportunities, and so on.
Our final text that I would like to share with you today is our teaching text, 3rd edition. Again, publisher is Goodhart Wilcox. I'm going to showcase just a few items inside the text. You can see the table of contents is laid out into several units of study. The Teacher of Tomorrow, history of the school, the learner, and the teacher. Just going to click on one chapter. This is chapter 13, Planning for Instruction. You can see there's lots of activities where students get an opportunity to role play. Content terms, academic terms, and learning outcomes are enclosed inside each chapter, along with journaling activities. Case studies where students get an opportunity to review a problem with a student and their learning and an opportunity to discuss. Standards, curriculum, how it would be taught, and so forth.
Finally, I would like to thank you for taking your time to review our curricular adoption text materials that we are looking to get approval from the public in order to move forward in our opportunities to have students work with us in these text adoptions. Feedback forms for the 2020-2021 CTE Agriculture and Skilled and Technical Curricular Review will be linked to this final slide. If you have any comments, feedbacks, or questions regarding our textbooks and materials adoptions, please be sure to fill in our feedback form. Again, thank you for your time in reviewing our curriculum materials adoptions. Questions or information needed can be focused toward me, Kelly Blakeney, CTE Curricular Specialist, and my contact information and email is listed at the bottom. Thank you again for your time. We appreciate your support.